Vesperlark Reanimator. We've retooled it. We're on version 15. We may include the initial portion here, or at least chop that out, where we kind of go over a quick history of Vesperlark. I feel this is an appropriate list that we'll probably be tackling a little bit here in October, being it's a Halloween month, and Reanimator seems Halloween appropriate. What has changed since our last outing? Iona has been moved to the sideboard as a one-of. We have a Gyruda now to be used in combination with Woodfall Primus and Ashen Rider, but also could grab us a Jace. We'll see if that becomes irrelevant. The other thing is that this could hit our opponent's stuff as well. So something that might happen. We'll see how often we want to use Gyruda. Not entirely convinced. A testing card this time around. We've added Liliana of the Veil instead of Mind Rake here, and this is just because when we were playing in our last league, we saw a fan playing this, and they happened to switch those out, being a little bit more of a tier higher up, a little more expensive card and all that. Something I haven't really played with too much, but we'll give it a shot. Mana base has been slightly tweaked to encourage more black mana sources with 2 pathways. More just because we enjoy the art and we want to look at some nice pretty things while we're playing, but also just to give it a shot. Many in chat have suggested that we play fast mana. That's probably the more correct line, but we do sometimes take quite a bit of damage, so your mileage may vary there. We have Feed the Swarm here, new addition, replacing Disenchant, and we've bumped this up to 3. Notably, Leyline of Sanctity is out. We've upped the Aether Gust for some of those small little creatures and dropped an Ashiok as well. Vesperlark Reanimator, attempting to Vesperlark, Body Double, Woodfall Primus, Ashen Rider, and Footsteps to blow up our opponent's entire board. Let's get to the matches. Whoa, what an intro. What an absolute intro to an awesome list. Let's get that 5-0. Come on, one time. 5 league matches ahead of us. This will be the final league of the night. We've got you on your Sunday. Happy Sunday. YouTube folks, Sunday. Maybe I'll upload this on a Sunday. Then it'll be completely continuous. Happy Sunday Twitch, happy Sunday YouTube. Now, what if we went real crazy one day and turned this into Sultai? We're starting to do Sultai. We're starting to lose the idea of Vesperlarking something. But, you know, sometimes people just like go 4-5 color and do everything. Maybe I should be reanimating New Omnath. Leave a comment. Or let us know in chat. Mayo Dominaria is our opponent. We'll be playing first. Mind Slump, thank you for the follow. Ooh. Speaking of those pathways, double Stitcher here and a Jace. We have a Lurrus deck across from us. Lurrus decks tend to have removal. This should be interesting. I think I'll go ahead and keep this, mainly because Stitchers could be kind of nice to use. Jace can reanimate typically a Footsteps, and as long as my opponent doesn't blow up Jace, we'll be good. Sultai, am I threatening you with a good time? Maybe. Maybe I'm just getting you excited for the potential of a good time. Let's go get Watery Grave. Watery Grave tends to be the very most common land that you get. Needing a lot more blue-black. Watery Grave, Plains, and a Liliana of the Veil hit the bin. My opponent now knows we are Esper. And they also know we have Lilianas. They will slowly respect us, and we'll hopefully get them. Blood Crypt, Thoughtseize. The jig is up. Woodfall Primus, Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, and Stitcher. What would you like, opponent? Oh, my shoulder. My shoulder just went pop, pop, pop. Takes my other Stitcher. We're going to put this in for white here, make blue, attack for a point, and pass the turn. Nothing terribly frightening here in our yard. Jace isn't an exceptionally important card at this moment in the game. Wooded Foothills. This looks like that prowess list. Thought seizing, blood crypting, all that. Diluted fruitcake, thank you for the follow. Attacking the shadow player? Heck yeah. I am but a reanimation spell away from destroying my opponent. Put new Jason past turn. And if you're worried about it, go check our YouTube out. Look for the most latest version of Vesperlark being posted there. And you'll see match 5, I think it's there, where we have some fun. So we have a Soulscar Mage here. I top decked another Jace. We get to play Jace. Don't think they expected another Jace here. My opponent crashes through. Hits a Sunbaked. We have a Trampling Soulscar Mage currently. Lightning Bolts Jace again here. I am going to block with Stitcher because I do have Burial Rites as a card to hit. So definitely want to block here. Block. And before this goes off here, I'm going to use the Flooded Strand here to go get probably just a Hallowed Fountain, because we have the Singleton Black here. This way we don't accidentally mill over a bunch of fetchable cards. Stitcher dies here. We get a Liliana Collective Brutality and an Ashen Rider to the bin. Okay, top of the library. There's a Death Shadow. There's a Crab. All right, I'll play Crab. Landfall trigger, mill us. Trying to find that Unburial Rites. This is sometimes where I think an extra Unburial Rites would be nice. And then as soon as we say that, Vesperlark shows up and wins the day. Blood Crypt Shocks in here. We have a 5/5 and a 1/2. We're currently at 14 life. Lava Darts Hedron Crab off of their Sunbaked Canyon to take damage. Follows this up with a Lava Dart Floating Black Mana. This is 9 damage. Scourge. Hits for 9. Puts us to 5. Top of the library is a Body Double, and we will concede. Okay. Quick attacks here. Quick attacks. So, what do we want to do about this? It's funny because Gyruda really doesn't hit a whole lot here from them, and it would hit our stuff. Doesn't hit a lot of it though. Well, almost prefer just like an Elishnorn or an Iona here. Liliana looks fine. Collective Brutality looks okay. May have just been that kind of general variance of not hitting what we needed. They are a Thoughtseize list. Like Feed the Swarm kind of, it looks interesting because they are an aggressive list and it's only going to be 1 and 2 points of damage. This over like 1 Gyruda here is probably okay. It could potentially hit a Scourge. Obviously you can hit my things too. I think I want to bring in a couple of these Feed the Swarms. I'm going to cut a Singleton Jace here as well, Gyruda, and something else. The other thing I'm looking at is I sort of want to do the Iona here. I think it's Woodfall Primus that does non-creatures. So 1 Woodfall out, 1 Iona as a body double reanimate named Black. could really shut off my opponent. Not to mention it's a nice big 7/7. Let's cut one more thing here. It's probably just a Hedron Crab. It could also be a body double. You like Elishnorn more? We could do Elishnorn instead. We can just do 2 Elishnorns. And get rid of 1 Vesperlark, 1 body double. That's not a bad idea. Goblin King. Hey, thank you for the raid. Party 5. What's up? 5 goblins plus the leader. Must be a Muxus thing. How's it going? Alright, let's try this. Also, we're not going to try to submit below about 20-30 seconds because we've been burned a time for doing such things. Unless they've got black spells that kill Iona that I'm not aware of. Yeah, you could just name... Well, you just name black. Ooh. Oh, this is so close and then not. Alright, let's keep this. It's a pretty decent hand here. I'm going to lead with the crab. If they steal my Stitcher, that's fine. Then I get to mill with crab. If they kill crab, I'll just be playing Stitcher. Needing a little bit of white here to do the Vesperlark things. Bobble trigger. Looking at the top of the library. Marsh Flats cracks the Marsh Flats. Blood Crypt shocks the Blood Crypt in. And Thought Seizes. Cool. So they'll probably take the Stitcher here, although they'll see the Vesperlark and be like, pause. What? Pause. What's interesting also is at this point, if we kind of top deck a land here, we could use Vesperlark to reanimate the Stitcher as well. Reanimating the Stitcher draws more cards from Burial Rites in the future. If they take an Unburial Rite, it's cheaper. If they take Vesperlark, we're going to just fill our graveyard. So, many things we can do. It's a body double. Land will mill us. We're just going to set up our graveyard for the future. Stitcher here as well, milling us. And pass the turn. Alright, so we have Vesperlark, Liliana Footsteps, a Jace, and an Ashen Rider have all hit the bin. We're going to need some lands here. Going to need some lands. I don't want to start this way. I hate starting with a loss. Give us a land. Bobble and Bloodstained Mire, and we're shocking in here. Down to 12. Death Shadow number 1. Soulscar Nage number 1. Land drop. Come on, land. Pass the turn. Collective Brutality wouldn't be terrible here. We haven't really milled over too many lands either. 2 polluted deltas. Sometimes we've gone where we mill over a whole bunch of lands and can't play anything. One of the reasons I've thought about maybe adding an extra land every now and then. Thought Seizes us. They can take actually any of this. Any of this would be completely fine to take and get out of our hand. Please, by all means, take these cards. Takes an Ashen Rider. So I'm looking for land into Footsteps at this point. I am going to block the Death Shadow here. That way we mill some more cards. None of those were lands. Woodfall Primus, Stitcher, and a body double hit the bin. We take 2 from Soulscar. My opponent plays a Scourge. Stitcher. Mills, 1 land, 2 non-lands. Then I'm just going to block again. Gotta hit that land. Just gotta hit that land. What happens if body double? The body double? Then it dies. I think. Actually, I'm not really sure. Stitcher blocks here. Let's see how many land. I'm going to mill over 3 lands. Here they go. Into the bin. Actually not. Footsteps, Feed, and Hedron Crab hit the bin. I've only milled 1, 2, 3 lands. 35 cards remaining, 2 here, and 3 in the bin. Meaning 5 of our 23 lands. So we have 18 hits and 35 cards. 50% of the deck is lands going forward. My opponent shocks in, takes themselves to 4. Puts Lurrus into hand, and follows up with a Death Shadow. We hit a Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Not much I can do here. Block 9, take 5, 6 damage. Can I block 9, take 9, 10, 15? I have to block 2 things. Feels bad to start this way. It does feel bad. Oh, Nile Spellbomb. We're good. We're good. You got me, opponent. All right, so we saw more than half of our library, or I'll draw 4 cards so we can claim that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so in the top half of our library, we had 8 of our 23 lands. That's the breaks. It was a sweet draw, wasn't it, Uncle DB? It's the sweetest of draws. Well, don't worry, Zale. If you're listening in, you will not miss a 5-0. Looking for match number 2 here. Kind of getting mana screwed, if you will. Getting to see a lot of cards there. Don't worry, Zale. It'll be our goal. In October, we will 5-0 with a list. Hey, I started with the 2 lands, too. I started with them. We're against Grandpa Biceps here. We're going to keep this because we've got 4 lands. That's good. Maybe I just need to be playing green and play Reanimator and Unearth and Euro. And then I can just like get lands and draw cards. Then what, guys? Then what? Oh, our opponent's a big fan, which means they'll know exactly what we're playing in a second here. We're going to start with Stitcher. Or just play Gideon's Pact. Why would we do that? Stitcher Supplier here, pass the turn. Hallowed Fountain, Watery Grave, and Stitcher Supplier. By the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the top 11 cards, we have the same amount of lands as last time. Blackcleave Cliffs. Do we get a repeat here? Thoughtseize. You should take Woodfall Primus. Now, not playing Hedron Crab, we won't get to mill as much here going forward. But that's okay. That's okay. Takes Crab here. Notes Woodfall Primus. Luckily, now we have plenty of lands. Keep in mind, we also are sporting Liliana now in the list, which would give me a chance to get rid of a Woodfall Primus in our future. Godless Shrine tapped, and we'll ping them for 1, pass turn. Cool, good start. My opponent has no idea what this is. Smiley face after telling me they're a fan. I think they're lying. Jason Brutality did the same. Jace and Brutality did the same. So you're just saying just ditch the Liliana? Some of the idea there, Zale, is it does give me something that would theoretically mill more? Discard? interact with my opponent? We can think about this. Extra Dark Confidant for our opponent. My opponent could just lose to the Dark Confidant. What would be really funny is to Footsteps and Ashen Rider right now and take out the Blackcleave Cliffs and the Swamp. We're gonna go hard to the drawing board here in October, Zale. We're gonna figure this out. By the way, for brand new folks, thank you. Consider hitting that follow button. We do stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and tomorrow we'll probably be playing Red Prison because that is what we're known for. Opponent Inquisitions and misses. Miss whiff. Goodbye, Inquisition. Nice try. They did get a good, nice, solid look at Unburial Rites. Currently, I feel like I'm just going to Unburial Rites a Hedron Crab. And some of you are literally laughing, and I'm not. See this laughing face? Pass turn. Let's see if they die to their own Bob. They didn't play the second Bob, for good measure. You people think I'm joking about reanimating this Hedron Crab. Reanimate the Hedron Crab. As long as my opponent's not playing Cling to Dust. Then we get to Unburial Rites whatever we hit with the Hedron Crab. Unearth from my opponent. Takes a point of damage. They're definitely playing Croxa or Skelemental, which I think at this point they should hit me with. They attack me for 1. I'll pass. That's right. I didn't attack or block for the Stitcher. My opponent is going to slowly die to Bob. Unburial, Crab, win. Classic power play. Sometimes you just got to do it that way. Take the slow road. Bonus Dark Confidant. I love it. I love it. Collective Brutality. Okay. I could kill a Dark Confidant here. Do I want to kill a Dark Confidant here? I probably want to go after their hand. That's probably one thing I want to do. I think we leave the Bobs. Let's do a Draining Gain and then instead. Reveal and Draining Gain. Woodfall Primus to the bin. Let's take a peek at what you're doing over there. Liquid Oxygen, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Thank you for 2 months. That's a very special number. The number 2 is a really good number. My opponent bolts me, not Stitcher, by the way. We have an Unearth, Croxa, and a Lightning Skelemental. Interesting. I will play a land and pass the turn. How'd the Nahiri list turn out? We went 2 and 3. We got kind of blown out by elves at the very end. Now you know I am watching your videos. They are watching my... Oh, they have a Marsh Flats. I didn't mean to click that. They're watching my videos. Fatal Push and Prismatic Vista plus draw. If they Lightning Skelemental, that's fine. I'm going to block with Stitcher on the Skelemental to take 1 less damage. 5 plus the 4 gets through, that's 9. Putting me to 5 plus fetch puts me to 4. I don't even have to fetch, actually, and I can discard an Unburial Rites, so I'll be at 5. I'll blow up 2 lands and have a big chunky in the way. Big chunky. By the way, for the second match of the 10 matches today, we are actually playing against one of our brews, if you haven't figured that out yet. Okay. So we're going to discard here. What's interesting about this bit of discard here is I think it's okay to do Stitcher here, because if I hit Iona... Oh wait, Iona's not in the build. So if we hit, like, I don't know. I think I'm good to just do a 1 block here and just see what else I get. I think this is okay. They could Fatal Push here and push the 6 damage through. Wouldn't be a totally bad idea, considering Fatal Push is probably hitting nothing. Being at 5 here and then milling a little bit more feels good. So we have a Woodfall Primus and an Ashen Rider here. Skelemental forces the Unburial Rites to hit the bin as well. I can cast this. Just depends what I want to do here. We know they have an extra land. So I might have to Ashen Rider back and get rid of a Dark Confidant. Looks like we're going to go with Kroxa here, which is a smart play, I think. It's going to put me to 2. So I need to draw a card that's not going to hurt me when Kroxa comes back from the graveyard. I need to bring an Ashen Rider back, and I need to kill one of these. Going to 1 doesn't really change anything here from 2. A little more blues, okay. All right, top of the library, be kind to us. Give us something that won't kill us with Kroxa. Okay. Step 1 complete. Step 2, Ashen Rider. Ashen Rider. You know what's really bad here? Don't they have a... No, they don't have an Unearth anymore. Get rid of a Dark Confidant here. We have a 5/5 in the air. We have a thing that doesn't die to Kroxa. Fatal Push doesn't work on Ashen Rider. Dark Confidant gets a Liliana. No. Alright. They can go for Kroxa, go for the kill, or they can go Liliana, down tick, and go for the kill. Now they can do it all. Now they can do it all. Preparing concede button. All right. They were down to 2 due to the Thoughtseize. That was a close one. Down tick, we still kill Bob because of the Ashen Rider. You're right, but then we have Kroxa too. They're gonna uptick and they're gonna do crazy things to us. Crazy things. All right. So this is kind of interesting because we have a whole lot of interesting cards to bring in. Don't like Liliana here. Don't particularly like Collective Brutality as much here, so we're going to strip those. I think I'm just going to bring in Ashiok's, Elishnorn, Iona, get rid of this Kiruda probably, bring some Aether Gust in. We know what we're playing against. It's our list. What would I hate to see? Teferi doesn't bother me at all. Feed the Swarm is not instant speed, so I really don't care. Most of my stuff can be brought back. So it's definitely this Ashiok Aether Gusts. I think Aether Gust would annoy me some with some of the tempo that it would create. Putting either things on top or bottom, especially if they're doing like... Especially if it's like Skelemental, but then Skelemental can just... I guess we can balance the Skelemental in response to a Unearth. That would do the other side of Aether Gust that I really despise. Stitcher seems like a good way to fill our graveyard. If they're playing my list, what do they have for sideboard? What have I been playing for sideboard for graveyard decks? I think I've actually been light on that, but I have sometimes Surgicals, sometimes Ashiok. Trying to think what else I run in the list. I think that's mainly what I end up running. Sometimes I've talked about Leyline. Maybe they've upgraded and put Leyline in already. That would be bad. All right, I think I'm gonna go with what we have here. Cot 4, yes, that it'll be the second list there. They're the second person playing one of our brews tonight. It's kind of flattering to see people on the weekend. Maybe I should stream on the weekends more. We got to clear it with the wife a little bit more, but you know, running into lists that we're familiar with. All right, we have Stitcher, Woodfall Primus, 2 lands. This is probably not a keepable hand. Colin, thank you for the follow. I think we got to mulligan this. Having 2 threats here and then they just Thoughtseize one of these doesn't feel very good. This one's close, minus the fact of having 1 land. We got to mulligan this too. Here we go. All right, we can keep this. This does things. Hallowed Fountain's probably okay to get rid of. And a Flooded Strand here. We'll just lead with Stitcher and see if we can hit something nice for Footsteps. It'll be a little rough if they're running the Thoughtseize here, which is highly likely. If not, we've hit an Ashen Rite in the bin, so we're 2 turns away from doing some really fancy things. But we could be a long 2 turns away. Depends what the opening card is. Many times it is Thoughtseize or Inquisition. It appears to be neither, though. All right. We're just going to pass the turn. Nah, they can't do anything on turn 2. Nah. In for 1. Guess who's going to get the Footsteps next? Footsteps Ashen Rider seems good. It'd be nice to do a Woodfall Primus. That would be a little bit better. Need to add Simian Spirit Guide to get that turn 2 Footsteps. But then we have to always mill something on turn 2, which sometimes can be very hard. Kroxa doesn't feel like a good idea here. If they were planning to do Kroxa, just ditch the Elish Norn. It's like, put that in the bin. Collective Brutality. This is an extremely good play here. Gets rid of my Footsteps. Okay, there goes Footsteps. I'm not doing anything on turn 3 at the moment. Steals that away. We're going to Footsteps Ashen Rider and blow up 2 lands. That would have set our opponent back way back. They apparently hit me for life total stuff too. All right, let's play a new Stitcher here. In response to this trigger, I'm going to go get a Watery Grave just to be sure I don't mill over too many of those. Woodfall Primus, Marsh, Flats, and Island hit the bin. We'll attack for a point and pass turn. Alright, so we've got our graveyard stocked full of great things. No body doubles yet, but we could use land, could use Footsteps. Jace would be okay, but Jace probably gets killed pretty quickly. Third land here, Skelemental. Seasoned Pyromancer. All right. Makes sense here. Ditches a few cards here. Swamp and a Kroxa makes 1 token. Okay. So, here we go. Top deck the Footsteps. Use the Footsteps. Kill the Woodfall Primus here, because I'm going to go after lands. I could run into them hoping that they'll do something. Not going to give them that chance. We're just going to do this. We'll worry about all that later. I'm not going to attack because I'm going to play defense a little bit, and we're going to smash them with a big Woodfall. Taking off double red here is probably really, really good. It sure feels good to be gangsta. Cold Sodak, thank you for the follow. Never didn't have it. What's up, Lunite? Now we have a nice beefy 5/5. It's always good to have. A little ways away from doing really anything too broken here. Waiting for Penny Dreadful rotation to finish. Oh, they have a Feed the Swarm. They killed the Woodfall. They took a ton of damage to do that. I'm going to pass the turn. Fan from Hong Kong. Well, thanks. Thanks. I guess time-wise, I guess it's early in the morning over there? I think it's early. Marsh Flats here. Goes and gets more red mana. 6 a.m. Okay. 25-hour difference. Seasoned Pyromancer ditching 2 cards here. Trying to find their 4th lands. We need another Footsteps here, it looks like. I wonder if they attack me. Alright, I hit another land. So at this point, I'm probably good to go ahead and attack. This threatens to kill them pretty quickly, and now that I have 4 lands in play, I'm threatening Unburial Rites. Unburial Rites, hitting a land here wouldn't be a bad idea. So we're going to trade Elementals for Stitchers. I don't know why they don't just do 2 Seasoned Pyromancers here. There you go. Good job, good job. Mill 6. Come on, Unburial Rites. Body Double Vesperlark. Come on, Unburial Rites. Oh, no Unburial Rites. Biz. Thank you for the follow. All right, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Plus a nasty. Is there a pathway that's black-red right now? I don't think there is. If there is, we need to upgrade the list. All right, they hit me for a ton here. We're looking for probably Vesperlark or Footsteps here. We hit a land. That's not exactly what we wanted. I can now hit a Body Double on Burial Rites. Ugh. Imagine if I could get this Elish Norn somehow. Croxa? Oh. Look away, chat. Look away. Look away. I love the one of. Keeping the one of back in case I have a haste threat. Let's get the... Keshgar. Keshgar has... Oh, they have got Cling. Oh my gosh, my soul. They have Cling. Keshgar hasn't been here when we just take over the game. We just need to be... We just need to warm up, right? Alright, we're 0-2-0-2. One of the worst starts we've ever had for this list. Let's get it going here. So far, really haven't run into the Gyruda. I'm slowly wanting an extra Unburial Rites. Liliana, haven't seen it, wouldn't want it so far. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be Mind Rake back in, or maybe just a third Unburial Rites, and maybe a third big threat, like an Elish Norn or Iona back in. Maybe Elish Norn based on some of the smaller creatures we've seen, and then give the sideboard a little bump of some sorts. This is the warm-up league? Yeah. The actual league will happen on Monday. You'll just have to come back. How's everyone's Sunday going, though? We're normally not able to ask that question. Normally, we're just like, sitting on a couch. Actually, normally I'm recording videos for YouTube. But I can imagine I'm sitting on the couch on Sunday. We're going to keep this. We have a draw. I need a third land here. As long as they leave Crab alone, we'll be okay. That being said, they probably won't. There's our land. All right. Let's put Hallowed Fountain into play tapped and pass turn. We're doing this because then I can play Crab and Mill, or I can do Collective Brutality before trying to do Crab Mill. Vesperlark is only for consistency, or am I missing something? Vesperlark's there for body double interactions, and it's supposed to allow for pretty potent turn 2s. My opponent does crazy things and skips. Here's a great example of where Vesperlark may come into play. So now let's try to give ourselves the best chance here. We're going to just remove a creature here, specifically the Soulscar Mage. I'm not even going to look at the hand. So what ends up happening here is we can actually play Hedron Crab down and try to mill. If we mill over body double plus something else, Vesperlark gets that reanimated on turn 2. So the idea is Crab, fetch, Vesperlark, and fetch, get body double plus something. And if you're doing Crab plus the fetch, you're milling 6. If we do Stitcher, you get to mill 3. But the general idea is once you have those 2 cards in, this becomes a pretty simple counter to whatever my opponent's trying to do. If we miss here, we're probably going to just collect a Brutality of the Killing Fiend away. But that's the gist of what's going on here. So we'll Crab first. We'll play our land. We'll see if when we mill ourselves, if we hit body double plus something. It's a bit rare here. We don't. We hit 3 lands. So in that case, let's just go ahead and collective. Let's 2-mode this. Let's go ahead and 2-mode it, killing creature looking at hand. And here, I can probably just get rid of a Footsteps of the Goryo, because I have a bonus one. Alright, so my opponent has Lava Dart, and Manamorphose. It's a lot that they can do here. I hate all the Lava Darts. I hate the Manamorphose too. I guess I'll take 1 Lava Dart. I don't particularly like giving them the Manamorphose, but Lava Darts. Having it in the yard with 2 lands here and with our kind of our general plan here to blow up lands seems like an okay thing to do. The other thing is if they kill Hedron Crab here, I could theoretically get it back with Vesperlark. Anyway, we're going to let this resolve here. Opponent puts a land into play. Perfect. All right, Polluted Delta here. We'll mill ourselves. There's an Unburial and an Ashen Rider. We're going to go again here. Can't do both, so we only need to do this once. Going to go get a Watery Grave. Mill ourselves. All right, so at this point, I didn't hit a body double, but I can Footsteps and Ashen Rider. And I can Ashen Rider both creatures away. I could also do Woodfall and get some lands. Because they have a Lava Dart in the yard, I'm just going to Ashen Rider and get rid of 2 creatures here. Will it be on YouTube? This is probably going to be on YouTube. What's up, Grandpa? Question. It looked very much like my list, one of my recent Crocs' lists. Is that my most recent or very close? I know you're running Cling. Lava Dart's me. That's fine. Boom. Get rid of your lands. Or creatures. Is that one of our Crocs list? It looks like it. Cling was talked about. Leyline was as well. Opponent Lightning Bolts me. Bedlam Reveler. 2 Lava Darts in the yard. 2 cards in hand. Soulscar Mage. Alright, so we have an Unburial Rites, but I also have the ability to do a Flooded Strand here to get more things. I have Gyruda in this list. We can try to find Gyruda, but I think it's probably just like Ashen Rider, get rid of this. I can also try to find Body Double. So we're going to do Unburial's 4. Let's do a Flooded Strand here, mill, and if I hit Body Double, maybe we do something with Vesperlark. We miss. So I'll probably just Unburial Ashen Rider here. We'll just get rid of the Bedlam Reveler. It's going, Shanied. How are you? We We have a lava dart and a lava dart over here. That would shrink this. That's fine. Let's get rid of the Bedlam Reveler, and we're going to plan to block with Ashen Rider. Glad you're doing well. All right, we're at 9. One thing that I wish I could do sometimes is like, I don't know, maybe I should have some way to get back some life gain or something. Maybe I should have like a sideboard card where if I hit it, I get to reanimate it and go back to 20 life or something. There's an angel or two that does that. There's one of these. I've just changed the sideboard a little bit. Ah, you're running 4 Dark Confidants. Lava Spikes me. It's not looking good. Clings. Okay, command. All right, all right. It's a Modern League 5-0 that looks nearly identical to ours. It's a little more mid-rangey red-black. Nice. I like that. It's a sweet looking list. All right, what do you have? You have Lava Darts, opponent. I'm blocking with Ashen Rider, obviously. So we're blocking with Ashen Rider. This is the obvious plan here because if it dies, it's going to kill the Soul Scar. Yeah, King Magic, you're definitely not wrong. All right, it looks like I'm going down to 4 here with 2 Lava Darts. All right, Grandpa. I'll try to remember to put this one up. Regardless of the result. I don't think I want to go down to 3 here with the Flooded Strand, so we're going to just mill ourselves with this Swamp here. A couple Vesperlarks. Mill. Body double? No body doubles. I really don't believe I can go down to 3 here. We'll play a Vesperlark. I could have played the first Vesperlark with the intention of milling a little more, grabbing a Stitcher. I like my line here, though, not to be too crazy. Not going to fetch just yet. We'll see what we top deck. Top deck another land. We'll put this on white. Mill a little bit more. Looking for those body doubles. Got a Vesperlark here. Guess I'm passing. Where's all of our body doubles? I could evoke it, but there's nothing to hit here. There's no body doubles. I'm more than halfway through and I'm looking for body double. Lava Spikes me. We're looking really sketchy now. Evoking would just get, at this point, it would have gotten 1 Stitcher, which is fine. Does not attack me. Okay. Top deck is another Vesperlark. All right, let's go for this. We'll evoke this Vesperlark to get, looks like just Stitchers. Maybe Stitcher can hit a body double for me. Stitcher mills. A Jace. A Jace is actually worth getting here. We'll evoke again with this one and get a Jace now. And if my opponent misses, this Jace could really wreck them. And we'll pass turn. No real reason to attack here. Vesperlark or Stitcher can block. Need them to miss a burn spell. Ugh. All the body doubles are shoved at the bottom of the list. There's body double. Liliana kills this. Oh, come on. All right, Iona, Elish Norn are in for this matchup. Get rid of this Garuda. Aether Gust can come in for this matchup too. I don't think I need to feed the Swarm necessarily for this one. Collective Brutality looks okay. Liliana's looking a little bit iffy, especially if I have Aether Gust and Elish Norn, Iona now. Woodfall Primus is going to get cut a little bit here because it only targets lands. And they have Lava Darts, so it makes the Woodfall Primus a little less useful at times. Let's cut one body double as well, and I think I'm going to cut one Jace. We're going to have Hedron Crabs, Stitchers to block, Collective Brutality to gain life and or kill creatures. We have Aether Gust to tempo them out. We're looking for an onboard Iona or an onboard Elesh Norn, which both should take care of pretty much everything my opponent's doing. We can Footsteps the Elesh Norn as a Wrath effect as well, so keep that in mind. That's something we might be able to do. Opening hand here lacks white, but we can get that with Polluted Delta. We have a Stitcher, we have some blockers, we have removal. I'm going to keep it. Looks like we should go back to the previous version. Exactly, that's what testing's for. Start with a Stitcher. I am liking these lands, by the way. They've actually been nice. So, for what it's worth. 2 lands, a Footsteps hits the bin. Pass the turn. About the Sultai, do you think of some Loam shenanigans? Oh, you could take this many ways. We might do, because it's Halloween week, we might brew up 3 different Vesperlark lists and play them, because Vesperlark gets quite a bit of attention on our YouTube page, and we're trying to do the whole. You could some of our top lists that we've seen on YouTube. It'd be nice to be able to run some of those. Let's do blue here. Collective Brutality, 2 mode. Which will be kill and choose spell. Getting rid of an Unburial Rites. Okay. What do we have to work against? We have an extra Soulscar Mage we got to get through. We see a Crash Through it, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, and a Manamorphose. Lava Spike and Lightning Bolt's frustrating to see. Sort of just want to take the Manamorphose. I don't know if I want to take this much damage, though. Maybe I'll just take a Lightning Bolt here. We're removing a creature. Lightning Bolt's there as well. I can now attack for 1. We'll go from there. So the one thing that we thought about doing and we haven't done yet is building a Vesperlark list with some escape things. The reason we thought about some of the escape stuff is because we fill our graveyard sometimes so quickly that being able to bring something back with either like an Unearth, with a like a Hellspark Elemental or other things like that, that would be kind of nifty. Doing some of those nuanced things would be something that I wouldn't mind considering as options. Whether it's good or not, debatable. But you gotta see if you can build like an escape list around it. You could go Sultai with Euro and like Sidisi and do like token zombies, and then do something with Vesperlark for Stitchers and like crabs. Or, again, the body doubles. You could go escaping with more Mardu style, Brood Moth, Croxa-esque combos, and try to use Vesperlark in that way. Maybe there's a Grixis shell, which makes sense, and you're reanimating Nicobolus, possibly. You never know. Cling, recursive card draw, that could be good. Actually, Cling might not be a bad idea in here. Some of the newer cards probably need to be evaluated and maybe see if we can flex the deck a little bit. We would love to keep Vesperlark as a core component with body double in there. I want to keep that. I don't know if that's always going to be the case, though. Alright, Lightning Bolt's me. We've got a Trampoline, Soulscar Mage. We've used a Crash Through. We've used our Manamorphose. We have a Light Up the Stage. My opponent's kind of just going to town while I'm sitting here. Opponent can Gut Shot us. Can't quite Lava Dart. It's kind of crazy that my opponent might almost kill me here. One of the things we struggle with is life gain. But yeah, this variation of Vesperlark might not be good. I think Garuda dilutes, because I'm not sure when I'm going to hit it and want to hit it. Gut Shot here takes me to 13. Going to hit me for another 5. I will block with Stitcher here. Let's fetch a Hallowed Fountain. Body double plus something. Come on. There's Iona. Woodfall Primus. I have an Unburial Rites here. Huh. I wonder what this does when we play it like this. Unburial, Iona, name red, question mark? Get redded. This is why we can't quite ditch Iona, because mono rack, we've seen some elves, prowess lists, many lists can just fold to the Iona. All right, let's bring a body double back in here. Let me drop something else on the lower end. Maybe I just drop one Hedron Crab. Then I do that and I'm mad and I get upset. Woodfall Primus becomes a nice blocker. That's why I'm not doing that. Yeah, whatever. 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 That's what's up, exactly. I'm going to drop one Vesperlark. I don't know why, something's telling me that is the card you're supposed to get rid of. Please imprint in a modern, viable Entomb. Oh, Zale. It's tempting. This hand's pretty good. I think we keep this. Crab, Jace, Unburial Rites, Collective Brutality, pitching the Unburial Rites. Got this nice crab here. They tend to not shoot the crabs or the initial creatures. Maybe they shoot that and we don't get the Jace shot here. Soulscar Mage is our leading card here. We just gotta get to 4 mana. Just gotta get there. Let's try to take minimum amounts of damage here as we go up. Collective Brutality. Couple modes here. Couple modes. Gotta get to 4 mana. It's a turn 4 format, right, chat? Turn 4. Whoa, opponent. Attacking for 1, block. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Lava darts me. There is no way they save this. Light up the stage, lightning bolt. I guess I take up a light this stage. Actually, let's take a lightning bolt here. I know that gives them a few light up the stages, but playing a Jace here and then they don't really have an easy way to hit it might be the appropriate play here. Soul Guide Lantern. Ow. Ow. Stabbed in the heart. Ow. Why would you do that to me? Oh. Ow. I got stabbed. Swift Spear. I see this lava dart over here. I'm wondering what I should do about that. That's new? I think I'm gonna go with a no block here. We know it's too light up the stages. If they have a land and light up, they get me. Okay, so use Jace, and if they let this resolve, I can Collective Brutality perhaps? Probably want to fire this off. Then I can throw Woodfall Primus back down there. I haven't seen a list run Soul Guide Lantern either. They could sack it right now. They let this go to resolving. JC go flipping. And then we up on this. Ha! Then what? Not interested in it flipping just yet. Alright. We'll ditch a Ashen Rider here. We'll put a land into play tapped and pass the turn. My opponent's going to get to attack me for one and light the stage. The stage will be lit. Hits for one. Stage lighting. Whoosh. Don't hit a land. Okay, they hit a gut shot, but no land. Looks like we're spinning again with Jace. Body double. Let's Jace. Let's body double. Hard cast body double. We'll get a Woodfall Primus here because I want to blow up the land. Oh, I could get the Soulscar Mage. Yeah, I want the Woodfall Primus. Blow up this land. They should Lava Dart me in response. Now we have a beefy 6/6, and when it persists back, if they somehow find a way to kill it, it's going to be a rough day. We might beat the turn 5 one-lander opponent. Hey, we had an Elish Norn we might have been able to get going. Just happened that my opponent... Just happened that they had some interaction for that. Keep that in mind, please. Thanks. Appreciate it. Love you guys. We're going to flip Jace here soon, too. It's going to be nice. Flip Jace. Make this not as powerful. Start with a Stitcher here. That will flood more. Then I can use Jace here very eloquently. Oh, look, there's an Unburial Rites. Let's use Jace here. It's always a good thing to do. Now we're getting things going. Martinez knows what's up. Didn't even get to draw my card. Didn't even get to draw my card. That might have been a slight beating to our red opponent. The Iona on red was probably the nail in the coffin. All right, we take 1-2-1 here. We're 1-2 overall. We have 2 matches left for this evening before we throw you to someone else. Quite literally, I'm going to pick all of you up and throw you. I've been working out. No, I haven't. This is going to be impossible. Love who tries. New and modern. Format is so hostile to brews. Ah, we're so hostile to some decks. 2 OP fluffy G's making broken decks. My brittle bones. I don't know. Is Evan streaming tonight? I always raid Evan. Maybe Evan doesn't deserve it. Is Spike playing right now? Maybe I can raid Spike. Spike deserves it. Yep, fling on chat. What about Thud? Every time I bring up fling, someone inevitably will bring up Thud. Come on. Well, let's find a league. Let's find a match. I don't plug it enough. I don't know if Nightbot does. I'll throw my social up there. We got Twitter, YouTube, Discord. And if I throw up Discord, there are 2 links in Discord. There's one to sub only and one to Pyro Prison. If you like some of the prison things we do, Pyro Prison. If you're a sub, hit the sub Discord. We might be talking about other variations of this in the sub Discord. Coming up with ideas. Splash red. Splash green. Where are the opponents? Opponents are scared of Iona now. I don't like... I like the... If you do exclamation deck, I like the 13th iteration a bit more than the 14th, and I like it better than this 15th. So probably we'll go back to the 13th and work on that one. Haven't been surprised... haven't liked Gearude. Even if I would have had it in some of my hands, I don't like it. One lander. Mulligan. Splash Karn. Splash a Bridge. Alright, this is an interesting hand. I'm going first. Let's keep... I know I don't want to necessarily get rid of the Ashen Rider, but we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to see if I can piggyback off this Jace here with Vesperlark. We'll find our big ones. We'll get them into play. No Thoughtseize, please. No Thoughtseize. No removal. Don't interact with me. Is that okay, Wolfie98? Wolfie. I am the fluffy wolf. Verdant Catacombs for our opponent. If you want to splash Karn and splash Bridge, by the way, Uncle DB, see us on Monday. We'll be playing Red Prison. I've said that a few times, and now I'm pretty committed to Red Prison. Looks like we have Red-Black Prowess here with probably Scourge, Death Shadow, all of that. Not playing Lures? We'll see. We'll see. Exactly. Trying to lock aggro people out. Uncle DB knows what's up. All right, opponent. Can I have my activation here? Can go get a Hallowed Fountain. I have black mana here. All right. Let's go ahead and play a Jace. We have a second one. We technically have a third one through the Vesperlark. No real mill is happening to our graveyard at this present time. That'll be okay. By the way, maybe someone can come up with a partial dredge kind of craziness. Maybe we'll become a Creeping Chill Vesperlark deck. No, we won't. No, we won't. Unless it 5-0s, then we will. Then we'll gladly accept it. But no. No. Jason play Mishra's Bauble for my opponent. 1 Prowess trigger, 2/3 Soulscar Mage. And my opponent is tanking. Why are you tanking, Wolfie? Why are you tanking? Don't worry, Jace is not a problem. I've got another one. Don't kill Jace. I have a Golgari Dredge list with Ghoul Tree. What if we played an Abzan Vesperlark list? Basically Golgari splashing Vesperlark. We wouldn't have Hedron Crab. What could we have else? Cute ways to cheese out 10-10s. It's always a good idea, Mad Knives, to cheat out 10-10s. What is my opponent doing? Red decks all day. King Magic. Evolution into Body Double. Yes. Body Double's at 5, so you have things like Knight of Autumn, Kitchen Finks. What else do you have at 3? Vesperlark. Imagine that. Fill your graveyard, put a Vesperlark down. If they remove it, remember, if they path or whatever, Body Double and all that, and then you evolution your Vesperlark to get a Body Double to reanimate something, and Vesperlark dies to Body Double the other one in the graveyard, and now you have 2 things. We're going to get some Siege Rhinos. You suggested that Land Mimic earlier, thinking that it would work with Vesperlark, not realizing Vesperlark is an Leave the Battlefield ability, not an ETB. Yeah, it's okay. What's interesting is that Vesperlark gets around Path, so that's kind of nice. Doesn't really care about anything, so it's actually a great chump blocker. Just sits there and waits. It's like a time bomb about to bring something back with Body Double. Sounds good to you? The other thing I've thought about go with me on this one. We could do blue-white, stripping out the black. And you can do Soul Herder Vesperlark, but use it kind of like aggro-y. You could just fill the graveyard using blue and white. You can kind of do a little bit of a blue-white millish strategy, a little bit of looting style. And you do Vesperlark and just flicker it. And if you added a Bant color in there, you can either evolution into things like Body Double or flicker Vesperlark to just get all of your good things. And now you're a Euro pile. That was disappointing. Why do we even brew? Grizzly Salvage if you go Abzan, exactly. So you have Grizzly Salvage, you have Grim Flare, which could be kind of an interesting little nuance there. Can't reanimate that back with Vesperlark, but something kind of interesting. You got the Stitcher and Grim Flare. You could go that green route, kind of, and then you have things like Abrupt Decay and Assassin Trophy and Thoughtseize to kind of tune the list, maybe sideboard. Is this playing Gifts Ungiven? No, but version 1 did. We're currently on version 15. We lost Gifts Ungiven by the version 3 because it wasn't doing anything. That being said, the meta's changed drastically over the year and very much could be playing Gifts. I think you've got to decide how you want to approach, and in this case, we're trying very hard to do Vesperlark and Body Double. Doing Vesperlark and Body Double is our focus, so Gifts didn't quite work, but I'm not seeing too much graveyard interaction right now. You might be able to get away with something like Unburial Rites again. In fact, every now and then you hear me saying, I wish I had kind of like one more Unburial Rites over a Body Double, but we're trying to stay true to Vesperlark Body Double. There's a link to the list of this deck. Seems nice. Always can do exclamation deck. I'll do it right now. It's not the exact 75 we're playing now because we're tweaking a few things. If there was a recommendation, I would hit you up with the Vesperlark 2020 list. Main changes here were Liliana's instead of Mind Rakes. Probably an okay inclusion. We are testing 1 or 2 of the pathway lands as well, just so we don't have as many fetch lands because we've dropped the Hedron Crab. Your mileage may vary. Enjoy it. Play around with it. You know the general mechanics. So my opponent's taking 4 minutes to pop a bobble here, giving us a great opportunity to chat. You can Whispers of Emrakul over the MH1 discard. My opponent's dismembering my Jace. So they took all that time to do that. We have Death Shadow, Soul Scar. They attack me for 3. And I guess we'll just play a Jace number 2. Okay, so now we crab. We mill ourselves. We mill ourselves again here. We can go get... We need to get a blue and a white land again, so Hallowed Fountain. Shocks in. This allows me to do a Vesperlark here or a Jace Fringe Prodigy. I see a Vesperlark here, but nothing else of note. We will play Jace down and pass the turn. Go ahead, opponent. Yeah, Cling might be good. So there's all these cards now coming out. Cling would be kind of good for recursive. We got to get to 4 mana, which can be a little bit hard for us. They steal my Vesperlark. How rude. Evening, what's up? Night Fluffy? Not nighttime yet. How's it going? I'm going to 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take it. I want to be able to mill. I know they can fetch Shock. I want to mill and use Jace here. I want it all. Is there a way to import a .deck list somewhere? Goldfish or TCG? Import a .deck list. I don't know what takes .deck list because I try to export always as plain text. And with the new modal dual facing cards, imports have been a bit frustrating because not all places are doing them the same with either 1/ or double slashes. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes your imports will break. I don't know what imports a .deck list other than Modo, and then export again as plain text. And then copy paste into your favorite place like TCG, MTG Goldfish, or other places. All right, my opponent's going to tank here heavily on this one. Does a fetch shock. This is what they should do. If they have one more spell, we're probably dead here. But I'm taking that risk and going to 4 with a much bigger potential line here with the Jace, the Hedron Crabs, and this Plains. Bolt is lethal? A lot of things are lethal, but not Death Shadow. Alright. Give me my turn, opponent. Gimme, 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 gimme. You can do it. Hit the next button. You're tapped out. I believe. Alright, I've got a fetch land here. Fetch land does a lot more for us in terms of things to be milled. Let's do draw first. Godless Shrine. So we can definitely just like bin a Godless Shrine. Okay. I have Collective Brutality or Footsteps here. Let's take the Polluted Delta and mill ourselves. I'm going to give myself the most hits here. We're kind of committed to our reanimation spells. Alright, we'll fetch again. Hope it's no bolt. They didn't bolt me. Let's take a island here. So if I get Unburial Rites in the yard, I could reanimate. Mill myself again. I gotta hit a big one here that I can Footsteps back. And it's probably gotta be Ashen Rider at this point. The opponent either has a cow, the computer is playing some 5D chess. I mean, I think this game should have been finished like 7 minutes ago with them either swinging out this next turn or me somehow stopping this. I sort of have an out with Ashen Rider, assuming they don't have another haste threat. Playing Ashen Rider could do something. So we have Woodfall Primus here as our only thing in the graveyard. Woodfall Primus kills lands, not creatures. We can block and block. So I will at least do this much, I think. Because this can give me one more turn, depending on what my opponent plays. Because I can block here, I can block, yeah, I can block both Death Shadows here. We'd have to top deck something pretty incredible though. And I'm not sure what we could top deck at this point. Maybe, I don't know. I think we're too far behind here, but I'm going to run the clock a little bit too, since my opponent's taken me on this long-winded journey here to find our victory. Go ahead, opponent. You got 2 1/1s. Can you give them prowess once? I'm F6'd. It's your move. Some things, because we're in the Esper colors, I would like to sometimes have... Let's be really cute here. This is mean. That's mean, because now they have to pick. A couple more seconds. So sometimes I think about having like Path and Fatal Push to slow down things like what's happening here. At the same time, we can just reanimate an Ashen Rider on turn 3 sometimes and kill creatures. So you got both of those things going for you at times. All right. Feed the Swarms, Aether Gust, Elshnor, and Iona. Garuda's out. 1 Jace out. Liliana's, we've noticed, haven't been very good so far. Collective Brutality I'm okay with. Stitcher I'm okay with. I'm going to go ahead and strip out the Vesperlark body double a little bit here. And then we'll take a couple Woodfall Primuses out. And now I'm stuck on that 2 again. I'm on the play. Let's do 1 Feed and 1 Aether Gust out. I know I'm cutting some of the cards I bring in, but having an Elishnorn or an Iona here feels like that's just like the win. But I have to interact sometimes with my opponents early. if this list becomes more prevalent, this red-black prowess list with the Scourges, basically it's like Grixis Death Shadow, but they've trimmed out the blue to interact and they're just going hard aggro. We're going to have to find a way to interact with our opponents in a meaningful manner to either stop this or whatever it may be to get it to behave, if you will. We're going to keep this hand, see if we can't get lucky here a little bit. Playing a Jace and then putting a Vesperlark down could just reanimate the Jace later. The Iona looks really nice, but it's currently in hand. We'll see if we can't get that to the graveyard at some point here too. Cosmic, thank you for the follow. Also, if my opponent doesn't pick up the pace, they're going to lose on time, which shouldn't happen at all. My guess is they're double or triple queued here. The reason I guess that is simply because my opponent just seems to not play for a while and then kind of does a few things and then doesn't play for a while and then does a few things. And so it just seems a little bit odd. All of their turns are super slow. This is the stuff that I would love to be able to cut up from a Twitch stream replay. But it's a little bit harder to. We can do a Hallowed Fountain because this can be black mana here. So my opponent thought seizes us. Going to take Vesperlark or Jace. Probably the Jace. If I want to, I can reanimate the Jace through a Vesperlark and force them to try to interact with Jace. With 5 cards here, it's pretty tempting to go ahead and try that. I'll go ahead and shock and do that. One of the nice things about having the Vesperlarks and then creatures with power 1 or less, something to consider, is that you can bring them back. This is why clone effects typically work with Vesperlark and small little creatures. I always wondered why MTGO players fetch in response instead of end of turn, like on Paper Magic. Is it to save time? Yes. Fetch and response there allows me to F6 through the remainder of the turn instead of trying to wait for that last little bit of a turn. Footsteps is nice here. All right, so no fetch. Let's go ahead and just activate Jace here. Stitcher looks really nice. I guess we get rid of an Iona here. Stitcher, if I hit body double, we'll be in great shape. So body double would probably lock this game out. I see an Ashen Rider, another Jace, and an Elish Norn. So here can easily Watery Grave tapped and pass. That being said, there's some really strong things in here, and that Ashen Rider there is looking mighty delicious. Mighty delicious. But yeah, it's all interfacing, and my opponent's not going to likely do anything in the future there. So I wonder if I block here. I think we do. If they kill Jace, they kill Jace. It's whatever. All right, Ashen Rider here, Collective Brutality, and a Polluted Delta. Fingers crossed they don't have like an Ashiok or some weird way to get rid of my graveyard like Soul Guide Lantern. Woodfall Primus with Vesper and Body Double is gross with evolution. Tons of triggers. Yeah. Alright, we have a Scourge here and a Death Shadow. Okay, so this turn, let's go ahead and use Jace. Get a Body Double. So at this point in the game, so we'll just clear their entire board and leave them with 2 lands. So I will get rid of Body Double here. This is kind of fun. So we get to we get to Footsteps of the Goryo Ashen Rider here. Ashen Rider kills land or creature 1 and then another creature. I'm going to down tick here. Oh, I can't cast again. That's right. We're going to go up here on the Scourge, and when this leaves, we'll do a little bit more. I want this on white. Footsteps, action trigger, Death Shadow. Okay. Next turn, Vesperlark on Iona and draw a land or feed the Swarm. Should be good. Should be good. We got a little ahead of ourselves. We'll get things a-going next turn. Having Vesperlark plus feed the Swarm looks really good here. I probably name black with the Iona if I get it down here. And we can actually, if I top deck a land, we can basically guard the reanimation with it being prevented from, like, say, a Cling to Dust or something. All right, so we have another Scourge here. They decide to hit me. Top deck land. Come on. Land, land, land. All right, Aether Gust here. All right, so we're going to go up on a creature here. We're going to evoke Vesperlark. Evoking Vesperlark, getting back Body Double. Body Double gets back Iona. Iona's going to make black here because it's probably the most dangerous for us. And I'm going to go ahead and feed the Swarm the other creature that I didn't shrink. We'll pass the turn. We'll be able to Jace downtick, Footsteps, and Ashen Rider to kill the last creature and start killing more lands. There's a Swift Spear. Plus a Swamp. Iona seems pretty safe here. Might have to just let everything through, though. My opponent gives up. Ooh, alright. Nice. That worked out nicely. Feed the Swarm. It's a good card. It's a good card. Helps with our main plan, too. Okay, I think now being on the draw, I want to bring the Feed the Swarm back in. Collective Brutality is probably not killing as much. We can get rid of 2 Collective Brutalities and bring 1 more Body Double back in. Let's see here. Is there anything else? I almost want to get this Vesperlark back in too, just even as a chump blocker. Let's drop 1 Crab. Feed the Swarm is Feed this. We might take version 13 here and add Feed the Swarm. Feed the Swarm's been really good every time I've played it. I don't even mind it being sorcery speed, and with our Jace interactions, it could do some nice things. All right, we have everything we want in the graveyard, not in our hand. Let's mulligan this opening hand. Much better. So much better. I'm going to get rid of the Unburial Rites, because we'll then fetch and put it somewhere back in the middle of the deck. So we're going to keep this. Unburial out. Let's go. Blood Crypt here, starting things off. Makes red, puts a Soulscar Mage into play. Alright, let's start with a Stitcher here. And see what we mill over. We had a Hedron Crab, another Stitcher. Alright. So Hedron Crab, extra Stitcher. Looks like they might attack us, in which case I'll go ahead and block. Absolutely fine to block here. We want Stitcher to help fill the graveyard. So Stitcher, we get Polluted, and a Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Opponent Thought Seizes us. Might take the Feed the Swarm because it can kill something. Might take Footsteps of the Goryo because they kind of saw what that did last time. They will not take Body Double. That's the last thing they'll take. Maybe they take Vesperlark. I don't see why they would take that. All right. They took Vesperlark. How rude. We're just going to keep the game going here. Nothing crazy to do here. I personally would have taken Footsteps or Feed there, not the Vesperlark. I know the Vesperlark can get like a Jace back or a Stitcher back. I just don't see that being a good idea when Footsteps literally does that as well. Footsteps can reanimate Vesperlark, and when it ETBs, it does nothing, but when it leaves, it gets the Jason stuff back anyway. So I would have taken this. We're hanging on to Feed the Swarm as long as we can for maybe a Scourge or some other bigger threat. Scourge is a 1/1, gonna become a 2/2. We need a Hallowed Fountain for white and blue with our black here. There's a grab. I'm at 18. Let's just play crab past turn. I really could use a land here, hoping that I find one. I did mill over a substantial amount of them. Alright, opponent plays a land here, attacks me for 3. I'm just going to let all 3 come through this turn. Hitting a land with crab in play is always good when you have a Footsteps. 2 Scourges here, 5/5s. We do hit our lands. So land here, mill ourselves. Come on, hit something big. There's an Ellish Norn and a body double. So I can reanimate Vesperlark here when it leaves, get the body double. Body double becomes an Ellish Norn. Kills this, makes this bigger. Follow up with a Feed the Swarm afterwards. Land drop, and then I can get an Unburial Rites in the future. I think this is what we'll try. Looks like they have a Cling. They do have a Cling. Ugh. Alright, so they take my Vesperlark here. We don't get the Footsteps, unfortunately. Cling definitely, when it's in our opponent's hands, can mess up us for sure. So they have a bunch of 4/4s here and a 1/2. Opponent Thought Seizes us. This is kind of interesting, but basically they'll take the Feed the Swarm. At this point, I can't necessarily block. I gotta take just 10, 11, 12. Because I almost need a land and a mill spell. Or I need a land and a Unburial Rites. So I need an Unburial Rites off this Godless Shrine that gets back Ellish Norn. So I have 2 blockers. And that's my out. And did not hit it. Alright, opponent takes it from us. A bit of a bummer. A bit of a bummer. Opponent took some time to get there with a relatively quick deck. We're going to learn how to play against this and hopefully not run into too many Cling the Dusts. There's our Unburial Rites. It was one away. One away. We're 1-3 overall. Let's see if we can get that 2-3. I feel like we can. This iteration, though, you can put it off to the side. Never wanted Yeruda. Want the Iona back in the main for the Unburial Rites. Starting to think that I don't need as many Collective Brutalities. Might need something else. What? We'll talk about at the end of the stream. Alright, let's keep this. I know that there's a lot of weird things in this hand. I know I don't have black mana. But with a crab here, starting that out, and especially showing blue-white, my opponent will have no idea what I'm playing. Also, we could hit a Vesperlark. So, Bloodstained Mire. It looks like our third black, red-black? No, blue-black? Delver of Secrets. Okay. Let's put an island into play here. Mill ourselves. Let's get things going. And pass turn. Ransack the Lab or Strategic Planning instead of Brutality. Ransack this Lab was in an earlier build, I believe. Or was that a Croxalist? That might have been the Croxalist. Steam Vents. Untapped. Shocks in. Thought Seizes. Takes Collective Brutality. Wonder why. Ransack's got an interesting nuance to it. Helps us hit that third land when we really need it. It just depends, because if Collective Brutality really isn't killing anything, the life gain that we gain from it's minimal. Ooh, Vesperlark. Yes. Trying to decide if I shock in here or not. I suppose I can safely. I'm at a high enough life total. Hedron Crab. We get a Footsteps, Liliana, Jace. Could play Vesperlark here. I think we will. We're going to play Vesperlark with the whole intention that it could be just a good blocker here. And if it does get blocked out, it can get the Jace back. Jace reanimates the Footsteps if we get to untap with it. I like this. Yeah, Ransack the Lab looks like 3 deep, and you pick one, and the rest into the graveyard. We have Grixis Delver. That's looking pretty cool. I'm just about all decided, though, we will be playing much more Vesperlark in our futures, by the way. We'll hit for 2 with the Vesperlark, doing the Vesperlark things. We'll put a new Vesperlark out. Now we're just going to get Vesperlark beats down. Man, I'm just thinking of an evolution version of this now, where you evolution a Vesperlark, you get a 5-drop, something crazy like a Thragtusk or an Ojutai. Ojutai helps you pick things out. I wonder what my opponent's doing. Attack for 4, pass turn. There's no way I win this just by smacking with Vesperlarks. This is not how it works. Opponent, I'm supposed to reanimate something gigantic. They probably have like a bunch of thoughts. Oh. Oh, everything makes sense now. Oh, Death Shadows. Well, I guess we'll put the brakes on here. I'm going to put the brakes on. That was slightly unexpected. Opponent goes to 6 here. Watery Grave goes to 4. Oh my gosh, they have Teamer Battle Rage. I'm just going to lose because Death Shadow comes in as a big giant. Just kill me. Oh my gosh, this is how I'm going to lose. I mean, even if I blocked out here... Let's think for a moment. If I blocked out, I can block 3 on here and 3 on here. This is 18, so 15 gets through. Yeah, let's do this. Everything in the way. You're not getting through, opponent. Teamer Battle Rage, and then if they kill one of these with like a Fatal Push. Oh. Bring a Jace back. Ah, shoot. I clicked the wrong Jace. I clicked the wrong Jace. I should have a Jace plus something else. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Activate. Ashen Rider. Got the Swamp. Can Footsteps. It's a shame that I don't have like 2 damage in here, because then I could kill them with the Collective Brutality. I get the Footsteps back in Ashen Rider though. Even though this doesn't win, I want to make sure they don't win with Death Shadow. They'll win with Death Shadow. Okay, so we have Grixis, Death Shadow, Sporting Delver. Okay. Feeds are going to come in here, for sure. Stubborn Denial is going to be a rough card to get around from time to time. Alright, so Feed the Swarm and Iona come in. Garuda out. I kind of like Teferi in this matchup because it's a little bit more controlling. Let's take... I kind of don't like Liliana still. Let's take a couple Woodfall Primuses out. Let's take a Stitcher. Nah. Collectible. Nah. Let's take a Jace. Collective Brutality and a Jace out. No. Let's take a Vesperlark out. Really weird to see Delver instead of checked notes. Literally any other threat. Yeah, the Delver really threw us off. Seeing the Delver with the Grixis list, it's wasn't exactly expected. I was like, oh, Grixis Delver, cool. I've got this. Let's play first. All right, we'll keep this hand. This looks completely fine here. Feed the Swarm to kill something. Jaceburn Prodigy to loot away the Woodfall Primus, perhaps. And then we'll be footstepsing. But yeah, it's props to my opponent playing a Delver list. Flooded Strand in here, pass the turn. Scalding Tarn for my opponent. Playing perhaps a Delver. Perhaps a Thoughtseize. Perhaps an Inquisition. Okay, so they may have interaction for Jace. They leave that. They don't want us to kill something. If they don't want the footsteps in the future, maybe that's something they can do. Takes Jace. All right, we still go get a Hallowed Fountain here. This way I can play Crab if we draw it. Can't play Stitcher. Let's put Watery Grave into play tapped, pass turn. All right, so black, blue, Serum Visions. And nothing else. Let's play a Stitcher. Stitcher gets body double, body double. Can I just note, this is the first time we've had body double like show up in the first maybe 20 cards? Small note. Anybody? Keeping records? Thoughtseize me. Well, they can't take Footsteps, but they could take Feed the Swarm here. They will not take Woodfall Primus. Well, that would be silly. Takes the Feed the Swarm. Gonna hold on to the Polluted Delta. I can go get basics, and if we could draw a Crab, want to be using that as well. Find ourselves with an additional Stitcher here. Let's do that. We go over 3 lands, and we'll pass the turn. 3 lands wasn't exactly what I wanted to see there. Shocks in a Watery Grave here. Ashiok for our opponent. I'm going to go ahead and... just going to... rip our fetch? Yeah, rip our fetch. Should have fetched when it was on the stack. That was a fun mistake. That was a fun mistake. Why not? Death Shadow Grixis Delver here. We've got some Footsteps. Let's go ahead and attack. We'll try to kill the Ashiok here. I have a feeling they have a Stubborn Denial. I like that I'm trading out here, though. Stitcher does Stitcher things. Stitcher does Stitcher things. We have a lot of things. Hopefully we get this. I'll try for a body double here. Reanimating the body double, then I get to other stuff. There's the Stubborn Denial. No surprises there. Okay. So I've got to get something else into the yard here, and I have to be able to do that and get around to Ashiok. They're really going after our graveyard here, unfortunately for us. Lowered your life total for Scourge. There you go. Exactly. All right, let's see if they have another counter spell here. If they do, then they've just been keeping everything. Bounce the Scourge, get a Jace, pass the turn. Ashiok kind of really hurts us. Does the graveyard thing, does a lot of good nuanced things with the counter spell preventions. Sorry, not the counter spell, the fetching preventions. Okay, Jace. Pass turn. Nifty here is if they don't have a Stubborn Denial, we can Woodfall Primus and Footsteps of the Goryo once we use the Jace here. Looks like we're going to lose to Fairy. I like this better. All right, they attack with both. Fine. That's what you get. Teferi's in the bin. Bolts Jace. I'm going to attempt to evoke Vesperlark to bring my Jace back before Ashiok gets to do Ashiok things. Don't have Cling here, opponent. Thank you. So apparently my opponents come with all the graveyard hate. Oh. Well, it's a good example of where we start to fold to a lot of graveyard hate. We were hoping not to worry about Leyline of Sanctity. Leyline of Sanctity or Rest in Peace. That's why the Feed the Swarm's in there. But yeah. Gonna make a 10-10 here, and we have a 3-2. I need to Feed the Swarm or I'm dead. Collective Brutality. We'll 3-mode this, trying to gain some life here. We'll take that Teamer Battle Rage away from you. Hee. I am at a soft 11 here against the 9-9. They have Anger the Gods and an unknown card. Ashiok should be doing Ashiok things. Does so. We have no graveyard. We have a 9-9. We have an Anger in the opponent's hand plus something else. By the way, the Anger makes very little sense. K commands me for the final 2 points. Discards my Footsteps of the Goryo. My opponent takes us down. 1-4 Esper Reanimator. One of our worst showings with the list. Let's talk about what were some of the shortcomings this time around. So, we are seeing that red-black prowess list quite a bit. We saw it twice there, and if we continue to see those types of decks, definitely want to be interacting with them in a better fashion. One thing that we're starting to see with the Esper list is that if our opponent has any sort of graveyard hate, it's just wrecking us. Cling to Dust also is new and is starting to be something that is definitely difficult for us to deal with. Plenty of Ashiok still out there. Trying to think, if we're trying to prevent an Ashiok, we might bring Spyglass in, but if we're trying to prevent Ashiok, well, then we can prevent other Planeswalkers. That would be nice. But is that enough of a target, or should we be going some other direction? The thing that I think Esper relies heavily on is obviously the graveyard. If we were to put ourselves into another color and switch it out a little bit, we can still do the Footsteps plan, but if I'm able to perhaps evolution or kind of search and use my basically my hidden library, we wouldn't die so much to the graveyard interactions that our opponents are bringing in against us. The land base is looking a little bit nicer, probably want to go up to 23. So looking at this, version 15, probably can scrap that. Sideboard-wise, we didn't have too much that I liked here with the gusts. I would go ahead and go back to version 13 here for the time being. Maybe with the land change there, but I would keep... Needs more Mardu. Here's what we had. You may be able to get away with the Liliana with the Mind Rake thing. That's probably okay. I think Iona's actually got a better spot in here than a Garuda. It's tough to say. If you can find a way to a little bit more naturally get body double into the yard, you might have something going there. Grim Tutor kind of interests me a little bit as maybe something you could consider. Maybe search your library for a card, put that card into your hand. That way I could grab a Footsteps, I could grab a Body Double. What I can do is Grim Tutor, then play a Stitcher to mill it over. So that's something you could maybe do. There's a few other nuanced searching strategies that might work for the Esper list. I know people are saying gifts. Maybe you can play like Factor Fiction. Maybe you can go a little more controlling. We just got to find how the reanimation spells work the best. You want the pay 3 life land on the back? Yeah, what is that one called? That could be something as well. That's up here. Let's look at that one real quick. But yeah. It's the mythic one, right? Somewhere near the top here. So this one's a land, but also if you flip it, it's return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards, each having different converted mana costs, X or less. We don't really get up beyond 2 very often, but getting to 3 would allow you to bring back Vesper, Jace, Stitcher, or Hedron Crab. So maybe there's some warrant there. It's tough to say. Tough to say. Our record was 1-4 with this list and 2-3. Maybe Sunday's just not a good day. You let me know. But there you go. Vesper Reanimator.